Ted speaking.
Hello, Ted. This is Jeremy. All right, so a little bit about myself. I've worked at East York Observer as well as Toronto Observer. I've done radio with Vibe 105.5, but right now I'm a freelance journalist, and for this week I want to focus on fitness and bodybuilding as a whole, and a little bit about your fitness journey.
Okay.
I know you started off as a powerlifter and you transitioned to bodybuilding. What caused this transition, and maybe what was the toughest part about this change?
Kind of the reason I started off in powerlifting because in the gym there was a guy named Al Young who was a Canadian powerlifting champion, and he kind of took me under his wing and basically taught me how to train, how to do proper techniques on like squat, deadlift, bench press, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I learned how, and obviously with good guidance like that, I progressed very quickly, and my strength rose very quickly, and I found that I was getting to a point where I needed like multiple guys to spot me, and it was getting to the point where the risk factor was very high. So the risk of an injury was high.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the meantime, I was doing a lot of reading on my own, and I came across a magazine and stuff, and I saw a picture of Arnold, and I was like, I like lifting heavy weights and being strong, but when I saw that, I was like, wow. And then I watched Pump and Iron. That's kind of what changed my view of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to look, and then it just progressed from there.
So what was the toughest transition going from a powerlifter to bodybuilding? What was the toughest part?
The toughest part is diet, nutrition, because powerlifting, I mean, you train heavy, you lift, like it's really basically lift from A to B, right? You don't really care what you look like or what you eat a lot of food because you want to, put size and gain muscle, but it doesn't have to be cosmetically appealing as a bodybuilder. So as a bodybuilder, when you compete, you have to have very low body fat, so that changes how you prepare your meals, what you eat. There's dieting involved, there's a lot of restriction involved, going hungry for months on end, stuff like that. So diet is the major factor in the difference in what kind of the training and the overall life of powerlifter versus the bodybuilder. And obviously the training is slightly different. You still lift heavy as a bodybuilder, but you're not too concerned with, going really low reps like singles or doubles.
Yep.
You're more concerned with kind of sticking to maybe as low as 5 or 6 and upwards of 10 to 12 reps. So it's a little bit higher rep range and a little bit lighter weight, but you still have to lift heavy in order to get thick, dense muscle.
Mm-hmm. So when did you realize that bodybuilding was your passion, or that you could make a living out of bodybuilding?
After I competed the first time, and the part that I guess created the passion within me that I loved was the science behind it, and how I could change what I ate, how I trained, and really my body kind of metamorphosized into something. So it became like really Arnold talks about it in Pumping Iron. You become like a sculpture. You sculpt your body, a little bit here, a little less there, a little bit there, and so you kind of have the perfect physique. So the whole science and process of dieting and training and learning, different techniques to make the body look different and better in certain areas and stuff like that. That's kind of where my passion lies.
Okay. So now that you have more than 25 years under your belt, what keeps you going? What motivates you?
It's just, it's almost an intrinsic desire to improve, constantly improve your physique. You're never, it's almost like an obsession. You're never happy with the way you look. You always want to change this or change that. Maybe you add an inch on your calves, maybe, remove an inch on your waist. So it's like, it's almost like OCD that you have to be that way because you're always trying to improve your physique every time you compete. And the way I saw it, I just, when I went to a competition, obviously I went to win, but the majority of the time you're not going to win. That's just the nature of sport. Any sport it is. And you have to kind of compete against yourself. So whatever you look like last time, try to come in and look better than you did last time. And if you do that, then you win no matter what.
I noticed that on your website you have a body recomposition diet as well as a contest prep diet. So for the average gym goer, could you let us know what the difference is between the two? Is it just a longer diet for a contest prep, or what kind of little things?
Yeah, so body recomp diet basically is they want to make a change in how they look. So they may say, you know what, I'm 20 pounds overweight, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to get rid of my love handles, whatever the case may be, right? Maybe the woman had a baby and she's post-pregnancy and she wants to get back to shape, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we work on if you're in a body comp type program. And also it doesn't include specific things like the last week prep for a bodybuilder is much different. You're looking at, changing your water intake, your sodium intake, your carbohydrate loading, that kind of stuff. So it really doesn't include that in a body recomp. So it's basically designed around the client's goal and what they have in mind, and it's probably a little less, let's say, stringent, and they get a little bit more leeway than a pre-contest diet, because they don't have to be 3 or 4% body fat. So losing 20 pounds is one thing, but competing in a body show, that's a whole different ballgame.
So what would you say is the hardest part of a contest prep? Would it just be restricting your food?
Yeah, the hardest prep is the diet. And I mean, anybody will tell you, training is easy, but it becomes difficult when you're living off of, let's say, 2,000 calories and no carbs. So you've got, let's say, 2 or 3 months with no carbohydrates, you're living on protein and fat, maybe just pure protein for a few weeks, and your energy levels are, extremely low, and you still have to go to the gym, you still have to lift heavy weight. That's the hard part, where you're, just want to kind of get on the couch and go to sleep.
Okay, so final question. Could you give me your Olympia predictions? Do you think Phil Heath is going to retain his title? Do you think Levroni will crack the top 10? What are your thoughts?
That's a tough one. I'm rooting for Kevin.
Okay.
Because I'm 48 now, and obviously he was like someone I looked up to, and I think he epitomizes the way bodybuilders should look. Small waists, flaring taper, flaring lats, sweeping quads, and he's a good, presenter, pose as well. He's very professional, very fluid, and I find that's missing in the sport as well. The posing, they come out and they do dancing routines or jiggling their butts or whatever. It looks awful.
Yeah.
So if you want to get bodybuilding back, to at least somewhat mainstream, the posing needs to change back to the Arnold days when, Frank Zane and Ed Corney, these guys had really classic, powerful posing routines. And Kevin is very much like that. So I'm rooting for him. I think it's going to be between Phil Heath, Sean Roden, Kevin McGrone, and
is Dexter Jackson up there?
Sorry, who?
Is Dexter Jackson going to be up there as well?
And Dexter. Yeah, I think those 4 guys. I think that's my prediction for, in no particular order, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And because they're all very close to the classic physique that they're looking for. I mean, Phil is kind of, every year he's gotten worse in the last 4 years, so he needs to make a significant change. And the problem is he's playing the size game, and it's ruining his physique.
Okay.
He doesn't have to come in big. He has plenty of size. He looks better when he's actually smaller, and he has better lines, and he's more pleasing to look at. So, and same with Dexter. Dexter is not, he doesn't have to come in at 250. He can come in at 220 and look fantastic. And Kevin knows that. And so Kevin's going to come in. I think he can be the best, the best conditioned guy on the stage in the show. So everyone else is going to have to up their game to match him, because he knows the sacrifice it takes. He's been there. He's done it. He's come in crazy conditions. So all these guys are going to have to up their game.
Perfect. So would you say Arnold is your favorite bodybuilder?
It's hard. Arnold kind of he started in bodybuilding, and I look to Arnold as kind of an overall idol, I guess, or mentor, because not only is he good in bodybuilding, but he transferred that to everything in life.
Yeah.
So his career, all that kind of thing, he basically took the mentality that hard work, if you work hard, Marty Yates was also very influential to me when I becoming, because of his work ethic and because he was kind of the guy that, was busting his ass out in England in the rain and the cold, and these guys were in California on the beach, and he would come in like the shadow and clean up every year and then disappear. So
Yeah.
I really liked the persona of Dorian, and then he was very methodical in what he did. He didn't use a coach, he didn't use a trainer, he studied it himself. He was intuitive, he knew what he was doing. He was a very intelligent guy when it comes to training and nutrition, and I looked up to that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ted. I really appreciate you talking to me.